debate over what qualifies as a sports car and muscle car has always been pretty heated. Can you call a thing a sports car if it only has 4 cylinders, or you think the 4-cylinder engines are only for economy cars? 4-cylinder engines for sure have a place in the sports car world. These models offer a driving experience that won't be matched by even some more expensive machines with 6-cylinder or V8 engines. Light, always eager to turn, and plenty fast in a straight line, these machines can easily put a smile on your face. In the right hands, they might even beat a V8 sports car on a twisty road. Every vehicle on this list is thrilling to drive. To make things more interesting, only including vehicles that were built as sports cars from the ground up. So they all have rear-wheel drive, a lightweight chassis, and a unique appearance. Porsche 718. Porsche enthusiasts were quick to make fun of Porsche downsizing its mid-engine sports car lineup. After all, flat-six powertrains were the main differentiating factor for the Cayman and Boxster. Still, we'd argue that the lighter turbocharged flat-four 718 Cayman and 718 Boxster variants are even more fun to drive on a twisty road. They lack the sound of the 6-cylinder predecessors, but do sound quite good and not slow either. The entry-level 718 Cayman and Boxster pack a 2.0-liter turbocharged engine producing 300 horsepower, enough for the lightweight sports car to 60 miles per hour in just 4.9 seconds. Meanwhile, the more powerful 718 Cayman and Boxster S variants pack a 2.5-liter turbocharged flat-four unit producing 350 horsepower, paired with a 6-speed manual. The S variants need 4.4 seconds to reach 60 miles per hour and have a top speed of 177 miles per hour. The PDK versions zip away to 60 miles per hour in just 4.2 seconds. But the straight-line acceleration is only a part of the story. Once you hit the corners, the Cayman and Boxster come alive. Balanced handling, sharp and direct steering, and a very playful chassis make Porsche's mid-engine cars the top pick among driving enthusiasts. Mazda MX5 Miata. The most popular sports car in history has always had a 4-cylinder engine, and most of its owners were fine with the performance. Yes, V6-powered Project MX5 Miatas are also popular, but if you just want to have fun on a twisty road, any regular MX5 Miata will do. It's responsive and connects with the driver. This is an antidote to complex heavy sports cars designed for speed rather than pleasure. Of all MX5 Miata generations, the latest MD model might just be the best. Mazda went with the recipe of keeping the weight and complexity down. The 2023 MX5 Miata weighs only 2,345 pounds, with a simple but very enjoyable 6-speed manual, and a non-turbocharged 2.0-liter unit producing 181 horsepower at 7,000 RPM. Work that manual swiftly, and you'll reach 60 miles per hour in just 5.7 seconds, not bad for an open-top rear-wheel drive sports car under $30,000. However, the MX5 Miata has always been more about real-world experience than numbers. The vehicle provides a joyful ride thanks to its quick steering, responsive engine, and brilliantly balanced chassis. With 26 miles per gallon city and 25 miles per gallon highway, the 2024 MX5 Miata is one of the most frugal sports cars ever made. Toyota GR86 and Subaru BRZ. While Mazda makes the best cheap open-top sports car, Toyota and Subaru shares the coupe crown. Their GR86 and BRZ siblings feel a bit more grown-up, with a stiffer chassis and larger 2.4-liter engines, but still retain a big focus on driver engagement. The 2.4-liter Boxer engine is a much more usable power plant. It produces 228 horsepower, 7,000 RPM, enough for an advertised 0 to 60 miles per hour run of 6.1 seconds, though real-world runs show a 5.4-second time. Crucially, the in-gear acceleration is much better, mainly thanks to the Meteor torque, and the 6-speed manual feels precise and mechanical. However, the position of the flat-four engine makes all the difference here. Toyota and Subaru placed it behind the front axle for better weight distribution. Boxer engines also naturally sit closer to the ground, allowing for a much lower center of gravity. As a result, the GR86 and BRZ are sharp cornering tools, with steering precision and chassis balance that can embarrass sports cars that cost 3 to 4 times the money. Like the MX5 Miata, the GR86 and BRZ twins start at around $30,000. They lack the open top, but they're more livable day-to-day. Renault Alpena A110. Europeans have always understood what sports cars are all about. Maybe it's because of the tighter winding roads or the higher gas prices, but European sports cars have always been smaller, lighter, and sporting fewer cylinders. And one of the best ever superlight sports cars the continent has ever produced is the Alpena A110. This tiny and super-fun French machine packs a relatively small 1.8-liter four-cylinder turbo, which produces 252 horsepower in the entry-level version or up to 300 horsepower in the S and R versions. The A110R is the highest-performing variant thanks to Alpena's weight-saving measures, which results in a curb weight of just 2,385 pounds. The result is a stunning 0 to 62 miles per hour acceleration run of just 3.9 seconds and a top speed of 177 miles per hour, which are supercar-beating numbers. Meanwhile, the A110S launches to 62 miles per hour in 4.2 seconds, and the regular A110 in 4.5 seconds. All Alpena models sadly come with a 7-speed dual-clutch gearbox, which is blazingly fast, but not as engaging as a stick shift. Otherwise, the A110 has all the ingredients to be a great driver's car, with an engine that sits in the middle and drives only the rear wheels. Alpena did a great job with the suspension and steering, resulting in a very balanced and enjoyable sports car. Not surprising, as the Renault Performance division competes at Formula One. Alfa Romeo 4C. Before Alpena resurrected itself with the A110, European and North American buyers could already buy a light exotic four-cylinder sports car, the Alfa Romeo 4C. Alfa's designers did a tremendous job with the proportions and perfectly sculpted body panels here. The 4C looks like an exotic supercar. The 1.75-liter four-cylinder turbo might lack the character of engines with more cylinders, but it makes up for that with ferocity and power. It produces 238 horsepower, enough for a 0 to 62 sprint of just 4.5 seconds. That is mainly thanks to the 1,973-pound curb weight of the European Spec Coupe model, which is frankly ridiculously low. Sadly, the 4C weighs 220 pounds more in the US because of crash safety standards, but even then, it's still very light. The reason for the low weight is the carbon tub chassis. Yep, apart from looking like an Italian exotic supercar, the 4C is also built like one. With a mid-engine rear-wheel drive layout, the 4C is light, balanced, and very stiff, resulting in go-kart handling and telepathic steering response, great for enjoying a twisty road. The dual-clutch transmission is equally sharp and responsive, making a case for itself against a manual. Oh, and you can also choose between a coupe and a spider variant, both gratifying in their own way. Lotus Exide Series 2. You can't talk about lightness without Lotus. After all, its founder, Colin Chapman, once famously said, "Simplify, then add lightness." It's a motto that has been associated with almost every Lotus car throughout the brand's history, including its Formula One race cars. Thanks to that, the company has always been able to get away with smaller engines in its sports cars while providing similar performance to Italian supercars. A prime example is the Lotus Exide Series 2, which packed the famous high-revving Toyota powerplant paired with a 6-speed manual. The 1.8-liter provides 192 horsepower in the entry-level model, enough for a 0 to 62 miles per hour time of 5.2 seconds, thanks to the low 1,929-pound curb weight. However, the same engine in the S versions is supercharged, producing up to 257 horsepower in the Exide S260 Sport. That particular model needs 4.4 seconds to reach 62 miles per hour, thanks to stickier tires and an 84-pound weight reduction. However, things get better once you turn the steering wheel. Apart from producing exceptionally light cars, Lotus is known for its chassis and suspension know-how, and that shows in the Exide Series 2. It's a very balanced sports car that, in the right hands, could be faster on a track than supercars from its era. Honda S2000. A high-revving engine in the front, rear-wheel drive, a slick-shifting manual gearbox, and an open top. For some enthusiasts, that's the only way a sports car should be, and the Honda S2000 is a prime example of this. It does almost everything right, despite not being received well initially. The S2000 sits low to the ground, like a real retro sports car. It has a perfect driving position with every control close to the reach of your hands, and 6-speed manual is simply great. Super precise, mechanical, and with short throws. If you have never shifted a Honda S2000 gear lever, you should put it on your bucket list. This car is very pleasing to throw around on a twisty road. The chassis balance is impeccable, allowing you to attack any corner surgically. It's also fast, with a lateral grip similar to newer sports cars. Depending on the production year, the Honda S2000 was offered with either a 2-liter or a 2.2-liter engine in North America. The larger engine came in because the 2-liter unit lacked torque, even though it still had an 8,900 RPM redline and 238 horsepower to play with. The 2.2-liter F22C bumped things up to 241 horsepower. Regardless, both engines offer more character than some V6 or V8s. Honda Acura Integra Type R, DC2. Okay, I cheated a little. I said that this list would only feature rear-wheel drive sports cars, but who wouldn't include Honda Integra Type R in a list of the best 4-cylinder sports cars? The 1.8-liter VTEC unit is the centerpiece of the Integra Type R. Even without turbocharging, it produces 190 horsepower at a stratospheric 7,900 RPM, but even more impressive is the way this unit revs and sounds. It feels exactly like a race car engine, which makes sense, given all the racing components it has. Those components also make it super reliable in the long run. That kind of power may seem low, particularly for enthusiasts who weren't born when the car launched. Still, you have to remember that this front-wheel drive sports car weighs only 2,469 pounds. As a result, the Integra Type R shoots off to 60 miles per hour in just 6.3 seconds and reaches 145 miles per hour. More importantly, you get to play with one of the best stick-shift transmissions in history. The 5-speed manual is simply a joy to use. Many consider the Integra Type R the best front-wheel drive sports car in history. It handles beautifully in the corners, with impeccable chassis balance and precise steering. How did I choose these vehicles? Lists like this one will inevitably lead to disagreements simply because there are way more than 10 great 4-cylinder sports cars in history. For that reason, I excluded cars that weren't designed from the ground up as sports cars. So, performance versions of regular passenger vehicles didn't make the cut. Other than that, it was our interpretation of what makes a good sports car, with lightness, handling, balance, and driving experience taking top priority. The engines take center stage too, though in some cases only as a part of the overall package. Hope you liked these choices. Thank you for the attention and have a nice day.